So I was up mad early this morning. I got up at like 4 a.m. Kind of had trouble sleeping last night, but that's all right. Today I'm talking to you about the conductivity of guitar strings. So are guitar strings conductive? Yes, they are a little bit. They're conductive because they're made out of steel core wire and they're wrapped with nickel-plated steel. And in case you didn't know, nickel is ferromagnetic, and that means that it is one of the four elements in the periodic table that's magnetic at room temperature. So that's what makes it so good for using it as guitar strings. And, both steel and nickel are conductive, but, not as much as copper. But nickel is useful for guitar strings because it's magnetized easily at room temperature, as I say in this bolded section right here. And if you think about it, all this makes sense. One good example of, I guess I'll just go right down to my crappy diagram right here. I apologize for this horrendous diagram. It's not very good. I tried my best with the knowledge that I have and the skills that I have. Eventually, I'm gonna take like a course or something, man, because I want to draw diagrams, but I just suck. But anyway, so here's your single coil pickup and the magnets within it, right? So these are the core wires that are wrapped around each magnet. Like you can see I don't know if you can zoom in. Oh, I guess I can't. Oh, there we go. So you can see these lines right here, right? So those are the coil wires wrapped around the magnet. So the magnet is like magnetized, obviously. It's a magnet. It creates a magnetic field, as do the coils that are wrapped around it, the coil wire. And then because there's a magnetic field, which is signified by this thing right here, number 2, magnetic field, you see that? That's supposed to indicate the magnetic field. Well, and these are the guitar strings, my version of the guitar strings. They're not very good, but so when they vibrate, you're causing a disruption or a change or a modification to this magnetic field that's created by the magnet. So when you do that, you're actually creating voltage. Voltage is another word for an electrical current. So when you modify that magnetic field, you're creating an electrical current, which is then being amped by the amplifier, and then that is being outputted as sound. So that's essentially how guitar strings work. That's how guitar pickups and guitar strings work together. And from what I understand, if you were to use a different material for guitar strings, it wouldn't quite work in the same way. And this is one of the reasons why you use Piezo pickups for nylon acoustic guitars, because nylon strings are made out of nylon. They're not made out of steel with nickel-plated steel wrapped around them. They're not made out of that. They're made out of nylon. So you need a different scientific principle to make it work. You need a different, or rather, what's a better way of saying it? You need a different type of technology that utilizes a different scientific principle in order to get it to output sound via a large speaker, and that is done with piezoelectricity. And what that is that there's certain elements, or rather there's certain rocks that are piezoelectric, and this means that if you apply a certain amount of mechanical pressure or tension or stress or pressure, whatever you want to call it, if you put pressure on it or smack it, it tends to produce a voltage, which is kind of cool. It's very interesting that someone actually figured this out. Like all scientific things, it's really cool that people figure this stuff out. But anyway, so if you have like a piezoelectric transducer, which is like quartz, and you put that underneath a guitar bridge, underneath a nylon string, for example, the vibrations from the nylon strings, it's causing a disruption in the magnetic field, similar to the other one, and then it's producing a sound. It's producing, an electrical current, which is then being picked up by the amp, and then that's being outputted as sound. So that's cool stuff, isn't it? It's very cool stuff. The way all this works is pretty fascinating to me. I don't understand it as well as other people. I'm not that scientific, but it's not terribly difficult to understand, but you just got to read it through a few times. You'll have a better idea of how it all works. But ultimately, I think it's very cool. So anyway, that's all for this video. I hope this was somewhat helpful to you. Maybe this poorly done diagram will kind of illustrate how they work a little bit, as well as this step process right here of 5 different steps. But anyway, that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.